I'll never forget the moment the lawyer opened my father's will. My hands were shaking, and my mother sat stone-faced beside me. I expected fairness. After all, my father always preached equality among his children. But when the words spilled out, naming only my younger sister Claire as the primary heir to his fortune, my world shattered. Millions of dollars, our family estate, even the company he built, all handed to her. It felt like a slap across the face. And yet, deep down, I couldn't shake the suspicion that something wasn't right. Before I tell you how this decision tore my family apart, let me pause for a second. If stories like this grip you, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss what happened next. Because trust me, it only gets darker. Claire's face lit up with a smug grin, the kind you can't fake. She didn't even try to hide her satisfaction. My brother Michael slammed his fist on the table, demanding an explanation. The lawyer calmly explained that my father had amended the will 6 months before his death. Supposedly, Dad believed Claire was the only one capable of continuing his legacy. But that didn't make sense. My father trusted me with the business for years. Why would he suddenly change everything? My gut told me this wasn't my father's voice. It was Claire's influence. The air in the room was electric, heavy with betrayal. And I knew in that instant, this was war. The first cracks appeared that very evening. Michael stopped speaking to Claire altogether. My mother, pale and frail, locked herself in her room. I tried to keep the peace, but Claire's arrogance fueled the fire. She flaunted her victory, walking around the house like she already owned it. I wanted to confront her, to scream, but part of me hesitated. Maybe my father truly did want this? No, I couldn't believe that. My father was strict, but he was never unfair. The man I knew would never pit us against each other. That night, as I stared at the ceiling, I felt something snap inside me. I had to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. I started digging. First, I spoke to my father's old business partner, Mr. Reynolds. He told me my dad had been healthy, sharp-minded, and in control until his last days. He never mentioned changing the will, Reynolds whispered, shaking his head. That alone planted a seed of doubt. Then I discovered something chilling. 6 months earlier, Claire had taken over managing Dad's medications. She was in charge of everything, his pills, his doctor visits, even his meals. It was a detail I had brushed off at the time, but now it gnawed at me. What if she had manipulated him? The deeper I dug, the stranger it became. A nurse who once worked for us admitted Claire had often blocked her from speaking to my father alone. She described my dad as confused in his final months, almost as if he were being isolated. My hands trembled as I listened. If Claire had truly taken advantage of his vulnerable state, then the will was nothing more than a weapon forged by her greed. But how could I prove it? My family was already breaking apart. And yet, the thought kept circling my mind like a vulture. Was my father's empire stolen before my very eyes? I decided to confront Claire directly. We sat across from each other in the dining room, the tension so thick I could barely breathe. "What did you do to Dad?" I asked, my voice shaking with rage. She leaned back, smirking. "Dad trusted me. Maybe he just didn't think you were strong enough." The words pierced my chest. I wanted to shout, to flip the table, but instead I just stared at her. She wanted me to lose control. I wouldn't give her that satisfaction. Instead, I walked away with one thought burning in my mind. I needed legal help. Michael and I met with a lawyer the next morning. He listened carefully as we described the sudden change, the suspicious circumstances, and Claire's control over Dad's life. "This sounds like undue influence," he said gravely. "But proving it would be an uphill battle. Court cases like this could drag on for years, tearing apart what little remained of our family." Michael clenched his fists, ready for the fight, but part of me hesitated. Did I really want to expose every ugly secret in a courtroom? Then again, what choice did I have? If I stayed silent, Claire would win forever. We filed the petition. Claire exploded with fury when she found out. She stormed into my apartment one night, screaming that I was jealous, that I had always been the failure of the family. Her words cut deep, but I stood my ground. That's when she said something that chilled me to the bone. "Dad never wanted you in charge. He told me things about you, things you'd never want the world to know." My heart dropped. What secrets could she possibly mean? Was she bluffing, or had my father truly confided in her behind my back? Court hearings began. The first few days were brutal. Lawyers dissected every detail of my father's life. Witnesses came forward, some supporting Claire, others painting her as manipulative and controlling. I sat there, sweating, wondering how much of my family's dignity would be destroyed in the process. During a recess, I turned to the viewers of this story. Tell me honestly, if your sibling betrayed you like this, would you fight them in court or let it go? Because sitting there, I questioned myself every single day. Then came the breakthrough. A handwriting expert revealed that the signature on my father's will didn't match his authentic style. My chest tightened as the truth came out. It had been forged. Claire's face went pale, her confident mask cracking, but she quickly recovered, accusing the expert of bias. Still, the seed was planted. For the first time, I felt hope. The case was far from over, but I could see Claire's empire beginning to crumble, one lie at a time. The trial stretched on for weeks. Claire's lawyers tried everything, discrediting witnesses, dragging up my past mistakes, even accusing me of trying to steal what wasn't mine. The stress was unbearable. I barely slept, my stomach in knots. One night, I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. Was I losing myself in this fight, or was I finally standing up for what was right? Tell me, if you were in my shoes, would you risk everything to protect your father's true legacy? Finally, the judge ordered an independent medical evaluation of my father's condition before his death. The report was devastating. It confirmed that my father had been mentally compromised, unable to make rational decisions in those final months. Claire's house of cards collapsed. I felt tears sting my eyes as the truth was finally recognized. My father hadn't abandoned me. He hadn't chosen her over us. He had been manipulated, silenced in his weakest moment. When the ruling came down, it was like the weight of the world lifted off my chest. The will was declared invalid. My father's estate would be divided equally among us, as he had always intended. Claire screamed in court, her voice echoing off the walls. She looked like a stranger, consumed by her own greed. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, all I felt was sorrow, because even though justice was served, our family was destroyed beyond repair. In the weeks that followed, Michael and I tried to pick up the pieces. We sold the business, unable to carry on without Dad. My mother never forgave Claire, and Claire, she disappeared from our lives entirely. Money had torn us apart, exposed every hidden wound, and left scars that would never fully heal. Sometimes I wonder, if Dad had known what his will would unleash, would he have done things differently? Or was this the inevitable cost of building an empire on wealth and power? Now, years later, I tell this story not for revenge, but as a warning. Money doesn't just change people, it reveals who they truly are. My sister's greed destroyed the family we once had, and though justice was served, the victory felt hollow. If you've stayed with me through this painful journey, thank you. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss more stories like this. And let me leave you with a question. Do you believe money is the root of evil, or does it simply expose the evil that was already there?